Well, hello people, and welcome back to part 44 of Illium, our modded CS1 build. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Over the last few weeks and months, Illium has become a pretty massive city, sprawling across these islands, now home to nearly 84,000 people. And with that comes a lot of roads and a lot of cars. And today, we're going to give the city a purpose as to where these cars come from, by building out a car factory next to the F1 circuit. Certainly a related build here, I can imagine testing and sponsored teams are also involved between the factory and the circuit here, and it's another major industrial site for this growing eastern bay of Illium. But happy Monday to you all, and welcome back to Illium, everyone. Hey everyone, welcome back to Illium. I made a glaring error a couple episodes ago, which you guys all shouted out in comments. I left the left turn off the highway here in the roundabout, which is a major conflict. This is not good. So I'm just going to change this. If you want to go this way, you've got to enter the roundabout system. So this turn can come to these ones. And we'll also make this one and that one to there as well. And then that also means the IMT needs to be adjusted, because that line there is no longer needed. And we can bring that one in there as well. Sweet. Thank you for flagging that up. If there's ever an example of a fresh set of eyes helps pretty much anything in life, it's my videos. Thank you for flagging that up, everyone. Either way, today we're going to do a car factory. In deep association with the track, I imagine either this car brand, which please leave me name suggestions for down in the comments. There's Tesla or Hyundai. There's 100 different ideas. I'll let you guys decide exactly what that looks like. But give me a car brand name for Illium. But certainly I can envision this being, you know, the car manufacturer here has a team that races, or, you know, when it's not holding races, the car factory can test vehicles here. So I'd love to introduce maybe some track access for the factory to help bring that home. And the terrain here isn't really remotely flat, so I think we've got a really nice opportunity to play with some layers. So I think if we kind of recess the whole factory complex against these highway roads, maybe even a little deeper, something toward that end, I think. Yeah, I think we'll go with that. So we'll hammer that home around the whole facility. Although this road here definitely wants to be sloped. So let's bring in a bit of network multi-tool for that. And we'll just go down between nodes. That'll bring it down quite nicely. Might even go down to the next one there. There we go. Just gives it a little bit more room to slope down there, doesn't it? And then that can just be blended in. There we go. Do we even want to continue? Just want to check. I mean, that's all the same layer as the highway there, really, isn't it? So I might as well bring that down. Not that we'll be building here today, but it's our first time working over here, so we can prep some terrain. So let's start by bringing our car factory in. Now certainly this is one of the more chungus factories, and is also very expandable with its sub-buildings, which we'll explore today as well. Here it is. I don't think we've built a car factory since Orchid Bay, have we? So first and foremost, orientation against the highway is pretty much the most important element of the build today. And I think lengthways with these smokestack looking things on top of the factory, closest to the highway. Also check out some train traffic while we're here too. This is the internal line that runs from Francis to the downtown, which is getting so much use, isn't it? My word, everyone, look at this. This is so much fun. Look at that. Hello, people. Well, we're all here, isn't it? Look at them go. There must be a race day about to start, I guess. We have a... No, there's no people in the grandstands. Maybe it's a couple of days away yet. I think either way, there's so much tourist drawing stuff here. It's permanently busy regardless of a race day. Sweet. So I don't want any of the fencing on this. So again, we'll return to the wonderful world of network multi-tool. And we'll grab the unlock segments function and get rid of all of this fencing. So bring the roads down here so we can start to expand the facility. Now to explore sub-buildings, I'll just brush over this in case anyone isn't familiar with it. There is a filter in Find It for sub-buildings, and then if we search for car, It essentially brings up all the little modular elements of the car factory. Now, not all of them are usable. This one is pretty pointless, to be honest. You can't really do a lot with that one. But this one here, I think we certainly can. So just like playing with Lego, I'm just going to start plugging in these little modular elements of the car factory. We can certainly afford some fusing in many places here. And now network multi-tool should still function on these little fence segments. I'll get rid of them, because I'll do my own fencing with props probably. Or probably just fence against the road here will work perfectly fine, to be fair. And then I'm going to do another one of them. And we'll have that come out like this. So I think I'll be happy with that extension. That's going to look really nice for me. And then we'll dive into transit to grab our airport aprons. The largest size will be fine. And then just want to totally fill in with concrete here, because we're going to have an absolute mass amount of repetitive car props, which is something you see very commonly here. Now I'd also like some cargo train export this way. Why are the cargo trains going through the passenger side of the line? That's so stupid. Go through the bypass, you idiots. Is that why you're backing up? Because you're waiting for that? Can I ban vehicles from this? Yes, no cargo on these outside lines. That's so ridiculous. Yeah, so just passenger on the internal. I think that's the first time in 4,000 hours of CS I've ever had to ban cargo trains on specific lines with Traffic Manager. I wonder why they're doing that. Maybe just the station. I want to wait for a cargo train now. Of course, there isn't one when I need them most. Well, one will come along, but that's very stupid. I don't know why it was doing that. But on the subject of cargo trains, I would also like some export function here. Now, I did mention last episode about a possible port here for water export, but it's not really possible. I'd have to really change this bridge and have cargo ships coming all the way down here, which I don't really want, to be honest. So they can be transported by road to the port over there if they want. Or even better, we could send it via rail, which is a lot of fun indeed, because it will actually connect. Because of course last episode, we had this hub here, so the cars can be loaded onto a train for a short ride around the bay to be exported from here. Which is what we saw happening with the big factory on the other side of the downtown hill last episode as well. So let's align our cargo train station here. And I think I'm happy for it to be orientated this way. That way we can kind of guide production, storage into distribution then, so the factory flow would make sense itself. And then the rail's crossing over the highway here already, so I'll essentially just bring it out onto this height. What I am going to do here to actually transition the highway, because a bridge is going to be quite awkward, is I'm actually going to bring a tunnel under the highway. Okay, so we've gone under the highway here, and train slopes are down to 1.6%, which does blend in quite nicely. I think I like how it passes under. I think I maybe need to bring the nodes of the highway up a little touch, just to create, I think, more depth in the landmass, just to make it more believable the train can pass through it. But it does give it a connection regardless. And we do have some dimensional tearing there where the nodes are tight coming out of the terrain. But we'll hide that with detailing. A billboard or rocks or something. Or just push the nodes of the interchange back a little further along. But it does give us train export into the facility, which is exactly what we wanted. Let's blend this in. We're going to delete that fence on the side there again, so don't worry about that. And then let's also have this one come up here too. Now in Find It, if we go back to our sub-buildings filter, we can actually get the sub-buildings from the cargo airport, which are just sort of generic looking cargo distribution buildings, which are very nice and super repurposable. I should have put these in the port actually, from last episode. And we'll do 2 of these. Let's have that one there. And they probably need a little bit of bob work to get rid of those bushes, but I can tolerate them right now. But again, to come back to the visual from the roads here, even just having the visual of the word cargo, right? So that does help so much. It's possibly, you know, a resource drop-off center. Raw materials are delivered here, either by train or by truck, and then into processing, storage, and then back to distribution. So it's kind of functioning in a full circle, like. Essentially playing satisfactory at this point. We're getting the bulk of the facility here together now. Let's bring a road up into the distribution side of things. So that can start to attract traffic. And then we'll decide on an entrance for the facility. I think probably here, right? And we can actually align that with the grid directly out front of the entrance road. So we'll do that. Do 4-lane for this. And we'll curve back into the couplet. And then we'll also allow turning roads here as well. Just want 2-lane for that. 2 tiles is about the maximum length of a segment I'm willing to tolerate here. Oh, perfect. So what do you actually want? All of this is being produced now. So we should be okay for it. Now, the warehouses themselves are probably going to be a little chungus for here. I think maybe we'll store them across the road. Which again, given their positioning, is going to be some really nice industrial, almost distribution center looking vibes by the highway here. So let's have a road come here. We'll worry about gradients after the fact. Let's make sure we're happy with our asset positioning. Reclaim some of these trees here as well. And bring in the tree forest in the time-lapse here. Likewise with the sub-buildings fun we're having today, feel free to search for warehouse sub-buildings and you can get these things, you know, so you can make your warehouses even bigger. Just make sure you're not playing with any voids. I know one of these assets has a void on it. Is it this one? Oh, that's actually just the back end of the rail warehouse. Which could be an interesting asset to try use. I'm not going to use it here today. So I think here we can certainly afford the aesthetic of massive back-to-back warehouse. I think even with the same sub-building expansion as well. Although we'll have to move that over here, which is fine. There we go. Again, that's just to avoid the void, if you like, on the side of the asset. And then we'll grab these ones here and just pull them down to create continuous, massive highway side distribution centers here. It's such a compliment, just visually, isn't it, to the factory here? Big industrial sector. Which I'm liking how this map is turning out, actually. I guess the circuit could almost be classed as something industrial, because it's so impressive. Plus the port over here, rail yards, all the highway infrastructure. So that's all like a really cool part of the city, this one, isn't it? This kind of eastern bay. Wonderful. I've set one to store glass, which is this one here. What else is it we need? Got glass, plastic. We got plastic in here. That's being produced at the oil refinery or oil depot, importantly, across the road. And then we will maintain our road through this way. And we get lots of highway fence in here. And then I'm actually going to draw out from this one. And this can accommodate the last 2 warehouses, which will do 2 mediums. One of these will store animal products. And the last one is metal. Let's bring some fencing into this as well. Lots of industrial oil fence. We'll do that along the road. I mean, pretty much this whole arterial is going to be fenced in. Which I might even add to the industrial vibe coming down here as well. Do we want to go chunky industrial 4-lane arterial? I think we do. I think even down to the highway interchange is fine. And then we'll maybe go a little more landscaped as the entrance to the F1 track. And we can get lots of complementary detailing through here. I might even fuse the assets together. So it gives me a larger medium warehouse. And have that up by the fence as well. And then we get lots of prop detailing in here. Trucks, deliveries, crates and whatnot by the highway. And I'll also carry on with, I think, a little bit of raised day fencing on the highway as well. It's a nice little crash barrier fence, this one, which I guess is what its intended purpose is. Yeah, just so, you know, if there is a crash, not that there would be in CS1, but realistically, we can have that in. Also starting to see the first trucks arrive. Oh, there's a cargo train. Let's make sure it doesn't go through the side platforms. What? Why are you doing that? Why on earth are you crossing over to the other side of the tracks for? Oh, here comes the first factory cargo train as well. It is coming out from deep underground, isn't it there? I might need to change the height of those underground nodes. Sweet. And then here come our cars. Actually, just want to check where you're returning to. Cargo train terminal. So that's just come from the port of Francis, so it doesn't bother me. It's the internal cargo network functioning fine. You're going to car factory. Okay, so 3 of those trucks that just came out are all heading to the car factory. I'm pretty happy with that, to be honest. And plastics has already arrived. So that might be one of the functional cargo systems we've ever made in CS1. The fact that goods are arriving via other ports where production is happening to fund the factories. Definitely a lot of that is helped by Teddy's preset rail network that comes with the map. It's very easy to sort of tap into here. Let's have a look at detailing the outer edge. I'm going to bring in the fencing all along the edge of the roundabout here. Just the side of the factory there, of course. And then I think we can have a lot of fun with this roundabout. Let's bring in a touch of elevation. And then just soften that out. Just gives us a little mound in the middle, doesn't it? Sweet. And then I think a statue, which we'll use a few times across the car factory build, I guess, representing the emblem of the car factory here. And then we'll bring some roadies on the circle fill. And then just have them pull out. I've still not centralized that statue, have I? Sweet. And then with that, we'll do another row of jacarandas. We have a quite large spacing this time now. Something like that. And then I might even have some dirt pathways here. As if people maybe can walk up and get a view of the car facility itself. Can't imagine we'll get too many people walking on this roundabout, considering one side of it is hooked into a highway, but some people might use it to get back into to work, maybe. And then for our car detailing, we can come in and search for car. Now, because we're playing with the mod that gives us the cars as props, we'll have a few to choose from. I think I'm going to go for this one. We'll use the line tool on a very close spacing. These things are really packed in. If you go look at a car factory on Google Earth, they are just huge rows of them. We'll do that. And then we'll grab just our props with Move It. If you're playing without custom assets, either through choice on PC or lack of ability on console, you can do a somewhat very poor man's replica of this using some of the amusement park props. You do get some little cars, but honestly it won't look as good. Just get the official vehicle prop mod. It's the best way for it. And then we'll have these big squares of stored cars here. And then certainly I think in some spaces across the street as well. Just so it gives us, again, I guess something that's super important for me for these, in particular factory builds, is how they look from what's around them. And again, another point on that point of orientation is just that visual of tons of cars. Immediately tells you what it is, isn't it? Obviously some sort of car production happening here. And you've got the big distribution warehouses. It's just a lot of fun to build. I do really enjoy industry. Possibly my favourite thing in the city to build, maybe. That or transit hubs, that'd be a tough call. But either way, let's get stuck into some detailing. There's lots of little spaces here that are ripe for prop work. A little bit of network multi-tool to also tidy up as well. And then also add in some offices, some like, you know, supporting administration for the factory and storing these cars and making sure they're all stored in the right places. And then detail all the edge of it and indeed the networks around it, and also see what I can do about this jump that the train is doing out of the tunnel as well. I'm not enormously happy with that. But we'll see what we can do with it. But either way, grab yourself some snacks, and we'll be right back with Illium's car factory detailing time-lapse. everyone. First of all, we'll take a look at the nighttime facility, which has been embellished with some after dark lights, which looks so cool from the highway. I love that you can see the brand as well, right? We always love exposing the brand to the networks, don't we? And yeah, just some lighter blue under the trees, with a darker blue on the Jubilee sign, and the floodlights over in the mass car storage yards here as well. Just a compliment on those, because I think they look really cute. And of course, we'll enjoy some live nighttime views across to the massive city that is Illium these days. Absolutely enormous, everyone. Either way, just off the highway here, we've added in a little gas station. Just if you're pulling off the highway and need gas, you know, you can pull in here, some prop work around it, just to help settle it in. You've even got people parking behind them here as well. So it's like a kind of a live prop yard, really. Kind of nice. Simple configuration, 2 gas pumps fused together. And then this comes under the road, which I knew we'd need it for at some point, which gives us the access into the Formula 1 circuit directly underneath here. Over this way, lots of fencing and car parking at the front of the factory, and also chucked in a sub-building from the Disasters DLC, which gives us a big kind of chunky unit to sit here, and bobbed some trees and props off of it as well. And then this sits in our fused car factory, with all those car patterns repeated, some barrier detailing as well here just against the pavement. With a little kiosk and office to support, prop detailing on the edge of the train station. Which is so cool to see this active. Hopefully we'll have a cargo train in the not too distant future. Also some people are coming in here to load, so one might depart shortly. Optimized outside connections has also been added to the playset now as well. So cargo trains will be significantly less aggressive, as we discovered them last episode, creating train jams here. So they'll all leave at 100% load now. We also have an office present here as well. It just opens up into the big storage area here. A lot of fun. Really nice views back to the rest of the city from here too. Around here we'll find truck detailing, which helps complement the cargo docks we have at the back of the factory, with more trucks around to the side, with this road leading back around to the front, so there's also a front office as well now. Plus the signage, which I actually missed over here. Just searched for billboards and found a couple of car billboards, which are a bit difficult to see at this time of day. With it. There we go. Now you can see them. Of course, which is the Jubilee Clement, does that say? The Jubilee Clement. A very old looking car for whatever year Illium is in now. But yeah, again, no, it's supporting signage and branding, which then comes around to another one over here as well. Perhaps the latest model being shown off next to the car company's logo here, the little emblem icon we have around the site. Overgrowth between the couple, of course, classic stuff before we come to our little mound. Again, you can imagine car fanatics kind of walking up here to get a view of the very famous cars being produced before watching them race for the day over at the Illium F1 circuit, where there is a current race. Hypercar race as well. How fun is that? Watch them go around here. A lot of fun. Still so many people coming in. This is just like, this might be one of the busiest areas we've ever made, you know, from any city. Like, Illium has a lot of this, like, especially that pathway in the downtown as well. Which we'll go check out, actually. We've not been over there for a little bit. But yeah, so all very nice and thematic. Big fan of that. Of course, fencing and a bit of a tree line all the way around the site. And I love the shape of it. How these open courtyards give way for these big modular, chunky, modern fabrication units. Really fun. You could also include the high-tech buildings in with this as well. But I'm pretty happy with what we've done here. You could also put a high-tech building here where I've used the natural disaster one. But, you know, whatever floats your boat, really. Down here, our roads, of course, this will develop probably next episode. We've done a lot of industry recently, so we need some people in now, so people have jobs. So we'll start developing a new town over here, in this little corner of the map, in the not too distant future, I think. Which would be so cool, again, sat in the orbit. You can imagine this is a big employer for this eventual town here, right? I also love the aesthetic of the working train yard as well, the big train cranes. Such a good asset, that, from the airport's DLC. It's a lot nicer than the regular vanilla cargo port for me. And then we've got our associated distribution. which is again fleshed out with the usual truck props. That mod is incredibly good for you know, just giving you some realistic props to work with in the spaces. Just to be able to place vehicles, trucks parked up, goods, more barricades, and then plenty of containers. Or just expanding the pallets that the assets around it give us. And just the whole view of the site here is just absolutely tremendous, isn't it? Really love it, especially by this trumpet interchange, and then you want to stick the Formula 1 circuit in the foreground as well. Just this whole area looks like super related, doesn't it? Like it's one giant motorsporting site, which I suppose it is. Yeah, super cool area of the map. An enormous fan of how all of this has turned out over here. And yeah, we'll go check out that. We'll go check out the last build, but first we'll stop by that pathway in the downtown. We've not been over here for a little bit. Still as crazy as ever, my word. Look at this. Look at this, everyone. It stops by buses here, doesn't it? Yeah, over here. Yeah, it's just Ant City, isn't it? No, this part of the city feels so long ago, you know? Like, when we built all of this. All pre-downtown, of course. But how amazing is it to see in action? Just the scoring, the run. As much as I am enjoying CS2 at the minute, shout out to the new Kokomo series, everyone. Come join us for that over on the channel. But I still feel like it doesn't have this yet. This amount of sims that are destroying my frames. Hilarious. Wonderful. Yeah, great stuff. And of course, you're all coming down into here as well. A bit further into Central Transit Hub. My PC doesn't like being over here anymore, as you can tell. We're only allowed to come over on very special occasions when the PC allows it. Right, but my word. So much scurry in here. How are the numbers doing on this now? It has its first intercity train line connected. 700 through that. Let's actually grab, let me have a look at that train line and see how it's doing. This one here, which we need to name. Do Francis to downtown. And this will eventually be downtown to the international airport. And so the trains are busy. But just getting steady usage, I think. Apparently it's saved 100% of car trips. So that's good. Lots of downtown commuters taking the train in there. And then we'll also check out what happened last episode as well. And just see how things are faring over here. I realise I've not done this at the end of recent videos, so I'll bring back the flashback just so we can see what's happened from last episode. Now it's had the simulation running in it. And I'm tremendously proud of the cargo network here. I think more so than any other city, especially with the trains. It's kind of been a happy accident, to be honest. It wasn't forefront in my planning, but and then it's just passing all this huge industrial sites that litter this side of the map. So I mean, like, industry can be so versatile here. Need some fishing soon as well, don't we? Maybe in this bay down here can be fishing. Yeah, tremendous amount of fun, everyone. Really enjoyed this much more modular build today. But thank you all so much for watching. An enormous shout out to the YouTube members and patrons that bankroll these videos, with a roll call to our Golden Egg patrons. Casino, Spartan Angel, Michael W, Wolfo, Sebastian, Phoenix MD, Jamin, Great C, Brizzy, Sean, Trevor Larson, and John Mittag. Thank you so much for all of your incredible support. If you want to get involved in that, links are down below. They're really enjoying the developments over in the Eastern Bay recently. And we'll definitely hang around for a few more episodes before we possibly start turning our attention towards the ocean shorelines, over toward the peninsula, and some developments back over by Sapphire Marina, moving around that side of the map. Otherwise, enjoy the cinematics, and thank you all so much for watching. And as always, enjoy the rest of your day.